In the bustling city of Accra, where dreams are bought and sold, one woman made a choice that would change everything. She abandoned her newborn triplets in the dead of night, chasing money, men, and fame. But fate had other plans. What happened years later will shock you, break your heart, and then rebuild it with a twist you never saw coming. This is not just a story. It's a lesson about greed, love, and the true meaning of family. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will leave you speechless. Streets of Accra were restless that night. The sky threatened rain. Thunder rolled over Makola Market, and the air smelled of wet dust and smoked fish. Under a flickering street lamp stood a glamorous 28-year-old woman, Vanessa. Her burgundy wig shimmered faintly under the light, but her trembling hands betrayed her nerves. In her arms, 3 newborns wailed, their cries piercing the silence like knives. Behind her, a sleek black car idled. Inside sat Michael, his lips curled into a sly smirk as he leaned out the window. "Vanessa, stop wasting time," he snapped, rolling his eyes. "Drop them. You said they ruin your sleep, your parties, your life. Prove you're ready for the life I promised." Her throat tightened. She whispered, almost sobbing, "But they're so small, Michael. What if—" He cut her off with a sharp laugh. "Ha! Do you want diamonds and Dubai trips, or do you want to babysit? Make your choice." Her face hardened. With a trembling laugh that sounded more like despair, Vanessa crouched, set the babies on the cracked roadside, and hissed through clenched teeth, "Good riddance." The infants' fists shook in the cold, their cries growing louder. Michael shoved a leather bag into her hands and chuckled. "This is everything. Tonight your life changes." Vanessa grinned greedily, clutching his arm. Moments later, the car roared away, leaving the babies screaming under the broken lamp. Not far away, 3 men lurked in the shadows. Their leader, bald with a scar on his cheek, threw his head back and laughed when he heard the cries. "Ha! Jackpot! Rich men pay millions for babies like this." They bent to grab the children, but suddenly one clutched his chest, groaning. Another coughed violently, collapsing with a cry of pain. The leader dropped a baby and screamed, "Hey, these babies get spirit cower!" Terror struck them, and they fled, shouting in fear. At dawn, Mary, a 40-year-old woman, walked home with smoked fish balanced in a basket. She froze at the sound of weak cries. Her basket tumbled as tears spilled down her face. "Oh God, she cried, kneeling. She lifted the shivering babies, pressing them to her chest. "Who could do this to you?" Her sobs filled the empty street. She had nothing, not even enough for herself. Yet she whispered with a trembling smile, "Don't cry. I will not abandon you." Meanwhile, Vanessa basked in her new freedom. With Michael by her side, she strutted through Oso, laughing too loudly, showing off. Weeks later, Michael whispered, "You've been loyal. Open the bag." Her hands shook when she unzipped it. When she saw bundles of cash, she screamed with joy. "Oh my God," she laughed hysterically, rolling on the bed, hugging the money. "I'm finally somebody." But laughter turned to sobs months later inside a boutique. Vanessa slammed bundles of cash on the counter, head high. The manager examined the notes, frowned, then sighed. "Madam, this is counterfeit." She gasped. "What?" She voiced cracked. She staggered, laughing nervously. You're joking, right?" The manager shook her head. "Fake." Vanessa's knees buckled. She cried out, pounding the counter. "No, Michael!" She grabbed her phone and dialed frantically. Number not reachable. Tears blurred her mascara as she screamed in the middle of the boutique. Strangers whispered. Vanessa stumbled out, clutching the worthless notes, her laughter now hollow sobs. Mary, meanwhile, gave the triplets names of hope: Grace, David, and Daniel. She roasted fish by the roadside, laughing whenever the children played around her stand. They grew in joy despite hunger. But years later, Mary collapsed while cooking. "Mama!" Grace screamed, tears streaking her cheeks. They carried her to their small hut. With a weak smile, Mary whispered, "If I sleep and don't wake, live well." "No, Mama," David cried, gripping her hand. "We won't lose you." Desperate, they ran for help and collided with a ragged woman begging on the street. Her messy wig fell to the side as her mouth dropped open. She gasped, pointing with trembling hands. "No, it can't be. My children. It's me. I am your mother." Grace's eyes flamed with anger. "You? Our mother is on that bed." Vanessa fell to her knees, sobbing, grabbing at their clothes. "Please, I was foolish. Forgive me." David pulled his siblings back, glaring. "You left us to die. Stay away." Vanessa's sobs twisted into rage. She pointed a shaking finger at them. "If you won't come to me, I'll take you by force. You are mine." Across town, Richard Owens, a wealthy 55-year-old man, sighed heavily when told the roadside cook he admired was gone. "Find her," he ordered. When he walked into her hospital ward, his eyes softened. Mary lay pale, weak, tubes in her arms. Grace, David, and Daniel sat by her, weeping softly, clinging to her hands. Richard's throat tightened. "These are your children?" Mary gave a weak laugh. Not by blood, but by choice. That night, the hospital door slammed open. Vanessa stormed in, hair wild, voice cracking. "My children!" she cried, falling to her knees. "Forgive me! Come home!" Grace shot up, pointing fiercely. "Home? You left us in the rain to die. Don't you dare call us yours!" "Enough!" Vanessa screamed, tears streaming. "If you refuse me, I'll drag you by force." A calm but deadly voice cut through the chaos. "You're threatening them in my presence?" Richard stepped forward, eyes burning. "You forfeited that right the night you abandoned them." 2 police officers entered. Vanessa wailed, thrashing as the handcuffs clicked. "No, they are mine!" Her screams echoed down the hall until silence fell again. Grace and her brothers collapsed in tears beside Mary's bed. Days later, Mary opened her eyes. "My babies," she whispered with a trembling laugh. "Mama!" Grace cried, hugging her tight, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. Richard knelt beside them, his voice cracked. "Mary, you raised children not your own. I thought love was gone forever, but I see hope again. Will you walk with me into a new life?" Mary gasped softly, tears sliding down her face. With a shaky smile, she whispered, "Yes." The triplets burst into laughter, clapping, hugging their mother. Months later, Richard and Mary married. During a quiet evening, Richard opened a drawer. Inside lay faded hospital bracelets. His voice broke. 16 years ago, my wife and I tried to adopt triplets. They vanished. I searched for years, until I saw you." The children gasped. Grace pressed her hand to her mouth, eyes wide with tears. Daniel muttered, "So it was us." Daniel laughed nervously, then wept, hugging Richard tightly. Family, finally united. Vanessa's laughter faded in prison, her eyes empty. Michael died in a nightclub fight, his end swift. Grace organized food drives. David created scholarships. Daniel built a fintech idea. Mary laughed again as she served food at her stall, her children by her side. When asked her secret, she chuckled through tears. "Poverty didn't break us. because love refused to bend. That evening, the family stood hand in hand against the lights of Accra. Grace laughed freely, David clapped his brother's back, Daniel wiped his tears with a grin. Richard and Mary smiled quietly at each other. A portrait of redemption, carved in stone. From abandoned babies on a roadside to a family reborn through sacrifice and love, the story reminds us of one eternal truth. A mother is not always the one who gives birth, but the one who stays. Vanessa lost everything to greed. Mary, with nothing but her love, gained a family and a future. And the triplets? They grew into greatness, not because of riches, but because someone refused to give up on them. In life, every evil done in selfishness will one day come back empty. But love never fails. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs hope today.
Thank you so much for watching this story. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. Share it with your friends and family too. It really helps us grow. Until next time, stay inspired and stay blessed, DI besties.